Ciao, come sei? Benvenuto al video di oggi. Our words and our language that we use, that determines our perspective and our experiences. My little Italian opening was more about a bit of fun. I'm not here to talk about dialect. I'm here to talk about the words that we use to one another, and the words that we use to ourselves. Because our words become our experience, or become an experience, and that then becomes our experience, our reality. So when we're talking to other people, quite often we're really careful about how we're crafting our words and crafting our sentences, because we want the other person to understand what we're trying to tell them in the way that we're trying to tell them. But when we talk to ourselves, we're not quite as careful. We can be a bit careless, we're not as crafty. And when you consider that we talk to ourselves more than anyone else on the planet, then perhaps that's something we need to work on. We need to talk to ourselves a little better. So how can we do this? How can we talk to ourselves better that reframes our reality and our experiences? Well, I heard a quote the other day that's a really good example of this, and the quote was, I'm not going through something difficult, I'm growing through something difficult. So changing that one word for the same circumstance, what that does is it opens up some possibilities. It gets rid of the problem aspect of that phrase, of those words, and it opens up an opportunity. It opens up an opportunity to grow, to develop, to get better, to make progress, just by changing your words, just by changing your language. And we can do this for the whole range of things. You hear people say, I'm no good at technology, I'm not great at it, or I'm no good at that, I can't do this or that. Well, if we just change that sentence a little bit to maybe, I'm not great at technology yet, I can't do that yet. And then what we do is we're not putting a full stop on it before the yet bit, because we're giving ourselves the option of hope. I'm not good at it yet, which means I can work on this, I can get better at it, I can get a mentor, I can Google it, I can YouTube it, I can do whatever I want, I can practice, and I can get good at it. So that's pretty cool. That opens it up, just that one little word. You hear people say, oh, this is really hard, this is too hard, and I do this too sometimes. Instead of maybe saying, well, this is really challenging, and open it up as a challenge, see it as a challenge, something that you can have a real crack at. I don't understand this at all. So we can reframe that to, is there something I'm missing? And then we look for that missing piece, which gives us something positive to do to find an answer, to solve whatever the problem is that we're trying to solve. So just by reframing things, we can change our reality, and we can change our experience, and it becomes something more positive, because words create our actions, words create our thoughts. And we can either create really good ones with positive words and positive phrases, or we can be really negative and create sort of negative stuff. And that's really not much good for us, because what that does is that opens up all the floodgates to self-doubt and self-sabotage and lack of self-esteem and lack of confidence, which ultimately leads to not doing anything and not achieving what we want to achieve. So have a think about that. Have a think about the words that you use. Listen to yourself when you're thinking. Listen to yourself when you're talking. Are you using the right words? Could you change them up a bit? Could that help you move forward? If you want a hand with this, just drop me a PM and we'll get onto it. I hope you got something out of that. I hope it was interesting and relevant to you. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week. Arrivederci and buona fortuna.